By clicking on this video, you have stumbled across a fake gamer. But Rose, aren't all girls fake gamers? Correct. However, I am the fakest of all gamers as I buy games and then I don't play them. So I am going to minimize my fake gamer shame by getting rid of the games in question. The economy is also in shambles, so I could use a little bit of extra pin money. It's not just the money. In fact, it's not really the money at all. I mean, I'd like a little extra cash, but my main thing here is that when I first got into collecting, my gamer eyes were bigger than my gamer stomach, shall we say. And I had good intentions. I wanted to broaden my horizons. I wanted to challenge myself, but it turns out I'm pretty particular. I like my girly games. I like my mystery games. That's about as diverse as my tastes get. And I want to love my current collection more. I want to love it better. And I think part of that is replaying games. And how am I supposed to replay games if I have this huge backlog that I haven't touched yet? I've been wanting to replay the first Yokai Watch game for years, and I haven't done it because I have so many unplayed games. Another big thing for me is that while I may be curious about some of these games, I am embarrassingly willing to watch a Let's Play of something rather than play it myself. Alright, let's get into it. Fun fact, I filmed this once already, months ago, but as I often forget to do in my videos, I forgot to make facial expressions while filming, so I'm gonna try and remedy that this time around. We'll start off with consoles and console boxes. I'm actually getting rid of 5 of my 12 consoles. 3 of them are already gone. I gave my friend Haley back her Link Between Worlds 3DS XL. I also gave her my Coral Switch Lite, and my friend Ellie got my SpongeBob Leapster 2 as well as all of my games. Although I did discover I forgot to send him one, Backyardigans for the Leapster. It was boxed, that's why I missed it. So Ellie, look forward to that when we see each other next. The 2 boxes that I'm getting rid of are my Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu Switch box as well as my Pikachu 2DS XL box. It is very dusty because these have been in bags for several months now. There's also a Pokeball in here, never used because I didn't give a fuck about Mew. I just don't really need these as gorgeous as they are, and when I collected consoles secondhand, I never really cared about getting the boxes for them, so I would kind of like that unity throughout my collection. I'm also gonna sell these Joy-Cons that my sister got me a couple years ago for Christmas because I hate her. No, I just want different colors, probably the pink ones. One of the remaining 2 consoles that I'm getting rid of is my yellow Japanese DSi XL. I love the color on this thing, but I do already have a yellow 2DS in the Pikachu one, and you know, the screen on this is tinted kind of yellow. And if I'm gonna play a DS game not on my 2DS, I kind of want to play it on my DS Lite to get that smaller screen size, just because it's kind of a more original experience for me, a little bit sharper of an image. It's crazy even playing Wild World on the DS Lite and being like, oh my god, the text is so crystal clear. And lastly, my Japanese new 3DS with the Mario faceplates, as well as all of the games to go with it. So I love declutter videos, hence why I'm making one now, regardless of what it is that a person is decluttering. So closet clearouts are a thing that I watch a lot, and a common thread that I find in a lot of those videos is people will say things like, oh, I bought this outfit for a version of myself that doesn't exist. And that's how I feel about this 3DS. You know, I bought this for a version of myself that was going to learn Japanese. And I'm not saying that that will never happen, but video games aren't gonna be what motivates me to do it, considering that I barely play video games in English. So the games that are going are Animal Crossing New Leaf, Kawaii Kitten, Sumiko Gurashi, and then a couple of loose ones that may have come with the purchase of one of these items are Girls Mode and Girls Mode 3 and Tomodachi Life. I have my games divided up into various categories, some console, some specific series, some categories that only make sense to me personally. We'll start with entire series because I only have a couple of those. First of all, Zelda. I am so sorry. Link's Awakening and Breath of the Wild and Link Between Worlds and Ocarina of Time. I don't have an answer for this. The thing about me is, I don't have fun in the traditional sense when it comes to video games. I don't like most forms of play. So the really big series, like Mario and Zelda and Kirby and Pokemon even, just don't really appeal to me as a hashtag gamer. These are all great games, and they should be put back out into the universe so somebody else can enjoy them. Also, as if I need to play a Zelda game to become a twink with a sword. All I need for that is a sword. Speaking of a twink with a sword, Kingdom Hearts! Oh, you hate to see it! I know, it's called a Keyblade, I know. Don't get me wrong. I adore Kingdom Hearts. It truly scratches an itch that nothing else can. I just don't enjoy the gameplay myself. We go across so many platforms with this. We have Birth by Sleep on the PSP, Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance, and then Recoded and 358 Days Over 2 on the DS, as well as Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS. I am so sorry, Natalie, about Kingdom Hearts, and I'm so sorry, Haley, about Zelda. I got both the Shy Sprout sisters immediately. Another entire series I'm getting rid of, but it's only 2 games. Yokai Watch 4, We're Looking Up at the Same Sky. An English translation was never released for this, so Gone with the Wind. I was gonna throw it, but I don't want to hear that plastic clang. And also, Yokai Watch 3. This one hurts a lot because Yokai Watch is one of my favorite series of all time. I've tried to play this twice, and every time I've played it, I've just wished that I was playing Yokai Watch 1 or 2. Speaking of Yokai Watch 2, this is the most valuable game in my collection, and if you take it out, Yokai Watch 2 is the next most valuable game in my collection. Which tempts me to sell it as well, especially since it has a better story than Yokai Watch 1, but I don't really notice the story when I play those games. I kind of just enjoy the gameplay. Shocking for me, I know. Anyway, this game, what I hate about this game is what I love about previous Yokai Watch games. There's just so much to do, which again is what I love about the previous 2 games. But in this one, it's so much. There's so much crammed in there. There's so much that I would treat as post-game content just in the main game. Another thing is that it's twice as long as any of the other games because there's 2 protagonists that you have to play as, and instead of dividing the roughly 20-hour main story playtime between the 2 of them, it just doubles the main story playtime, which again, I feel like I'm crazy complaining about something like that because it's more game. It's a better bang for your buck, although not really because this is extremely expensive. And I'm alone in this because most people who have played this game, it's their favorite Yokai Watch game. I'm just broken. But at least I will earn a pretty penny for this. Alright, we've gotten past the series, we're getting into genres now, and this next one is gonna be a massive betrayal to a lot of my friends. It's honestly caused a bit of an identity crisis for me. I've had to do a lot of soul searching, and I still haven't really found a conclusion as to how to view myself. But, otome games. I know. A thing about me is that when it comes to otome games, I pretty much always want the guy with short, dark hair. Short for an anime protagonist, but short, dark hair. For instance, when I played Princess Debut, I went for Luciano. The character's personality has almost no bearing on whether or not I'll romance him. He could be the brooding bad boy. I mean, I do tend to lean towards those, but he could also be the nice, normal one. He could be the comic relief. He just has to have the short, dark hair. And more often than not, I've noticed that the guy I want is usually locked behind some sort of play wall. In order to unlock this character, you have to play through the game once, or you have to romance every other character before you get to this one. And I'm like, excuse me, the reason I'm playing an otome game is so I can have a 4-hour blush fest. I'm the one who decides if it's worth replaying or not. So that royally pissed me off. I gave actually a few otome, I gave some games to my friend Michaela for Christmas, so there were 5 of them. Super Scribblenauts and Imagine Fashion Designer New York for the DS, and then Stardew Valley, Café Enchanté, and Bustafellows for the Switch. I played Bustafellows, I romanced Limbo, I was good after that. He was very emotionally available, which I enjoyed. This growth. Anyway, the dating sims that I'm getting rid of are Princess Debut. This is very cute. I just didn't really feel like romancing any of the other guys. Sprung, I explained this in the haul video where I got it, but it's not an otome game, which is fine because it's an English language game. But you don't have an option of people to choose from. It kind of just designates who you're trying to romance, and it makes your decisions for you, and the dialogue trees are really hard, which I'm not super into, but it can be funny at some times. Akuoki, Demon of the Fleeting Blossom, I went for Saito in this one, and then there's most of my Vita collection. This has no cover, but it's Code Realized Guardians of Rebirth, and then we have Collar Malice, Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly, Psychedelica of the Ashen Hawk, Muv-Love, and Nurse Love Syndrome. This one especially pisses me off because it's a mystery, so it's the one that I wanted to play the most. But my guy, Aiji Yanagi, who not only has the short dark hair, but is also the only person who expresses any sort of sympathy at the fact that you, the player character, have a death collar strapped around your neck that you can't get off, and he's the only one who's like, damn, that sucks, you could die. So immediately I was endeared to him, but you have to romance every other character in order to unlock him, and some of these guys are absolute freaks. I might as well show you my remaining Vita and PSP games. So all that's left for the Vita is Demon Gaze and Steins Gate. I got this at PAX East. For some reason I didn't know it was an anime when I got it, and now that I have a Crunchyroll account, I kind of would just rather watch this than play it. Demon Gaze looks really cool. It wasn't an initial declutter, but then I started playing it, and I am so directionless that, like, the dungeon exploration thing was just an absolute no-go for me. And for PSP, we have Phantom Brave, the Bermuda Triangle, which is apparently the absolute worst version of this game. Gurumin, A Monstrous Adventure, which is the reason that I bought a PSP in the first place, and Blaze Blue Portable Calamity Trigger. I don't know. This is a fighting game. Why did I buy this? I have a couple of PSP games, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This actually wasn't mine, it was my sister's, but it's not like she's gonna play it. And Desperate Housewives for the PC, which I would absolutely play if it would work on my fucking computer. This game's so funny. I watched Kelly K-pop play it way back in the day. It got me into the show, and I really enjoy the show. But there's a massive error with this, which is just, it doesn't run on half of the computers that you would be playing. I'm in the unlucky 50% there. And then a couple of PS2 games, High School Musical Sing It, and DDR. And the accessories for these are lost in the universe somewhere. The dance pad for this has to be in my parents' garage somewhere, whereas the microphone for this, I specifically remember when I was a kid, I cut off the cord to it and covered it in pink, purple, and silver rhinestones, so just the discs and the boxes for these ones. I was gonna get rid of the PS2 and all the controllers and the remaining games in its entirety, but I have a 2-year-old nephew who loves the movie Cars, and one of the 5 games that we had for the PS2 happened to be Cars, so maybe when he gets older he can play that at Grandma and Grandpa's house as a treat. Oh, fuck me. What a thing to yell while I'm bent over a piece of furniture. This is almost an entire series, but there's a couple of games that aren't part of it, so it's more of a category. This is Farming Sims. Back in my heyday of collecting, between the years of 2019 and 2022, I broke my rule of not buying more than one game in a given series before I completed that game, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna love Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons. I'm gonna love them. And, you know, it was my first time in my life being wrong, so that was certainly an experience. I'm not that excited about the idea of managing a farm and taking care of animals. You know what I was excited about the most with these games? The dating sim aspect. And fucking yet. Anyway, we're getting rid of Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar, Sunshine Islands, A New Beginning, Tale of Two Towns, more on this in a second, Story of Seasons, and Story of Seasons Tree of Towns. This one I've wanted to hold on to because it has Fritz, and he's so adorable, but You're leaving. Before I decided to get rid of all of these, I was gonna get rid of Tale of Two Towns just because this is a remake of a DS game, and it turns out that this is kind of glitchy. Not that I've experienced that for myself because I haven't played these damn games. But I was like, oh, I'll just get rid of this and rebuy the DS version. And you know what? That's not even gonna happen. They're just vamoosing. And then the other ones that fit into this are Rune Factory 4, Fantasy Life, and Return to Popa LaCroix. Next category is one of our biggest stacks. It is games that I bought because they were probably on some IGN list of best DS or 3DS games that are absolute must-plays, and again, I was trying to expand my tastes, and my palette remained unrefined. Or I guess it remained refined only to mystery games. The first 2 games that I ever bought when I started secondhand collecting were Pokemon Soul Silver and Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, and these were both bootlegs, unbeknownst to me. The Soul Silver one worked pretty well. I got to Goldenrod City and it functioned, but the GTA one did not, so these are just gonna be the boxes. This one has a manual in it. As for the rest of these, we have Etrian Odyssey Untold, The Millennium Girl, and The Fafnir Knight. We have Pilot Wings Resort, Bravely Second, and Lair, Okami Den, New Super Mario Bros., The World Ends With You, Elite Beat Agent, and Trauma Center Under the Knife. These two in particular are a skill issue. Mystery games, since I just mentioned them. We have Barbie Diaries High School Mystery for the Game Boy Advance. I bought this at PAX East, and my friends made fun of me, and this would have been a prouder purchase if this game were not a literal hour long. Deja Vu 1 and 2 for the Game Boy Color. This was a cool play. If I'm ever curious about it, I will probably just watch a Let's Play on YouTube. Then we got a big ol' stack here for DS and 3DS, because those are the systems that I collect the most for. Trace Memory, it wasn't fun. Detective Pikachu, it was stupid. Crime Scene and Crime Lab Body of Evidence, I tried to play these multiple times and they just weren't enjoyable. Maze Mystery Forbidden Memories, which is also apparently a PC game. This one is like, Mom, can we get Professor Layton in the Curious Village? No, we have Professor Layton in the Curious Village at home. Professor Layton in the Curious Village at home. Even down to the text bubbles and the way the puzzles are presented, it's incredible how similar they are. These four came in a lot when I bought the original Professor Layton trilogy for my friend Haley. Came with these as well. It was just kind of the most cost-efficient way to do things, and I'm not that interested in them. Hidden Mysteries, Salem Secrets, and Titanic. And then Nancy Drew, The Deadly Secret of Old World Park, and The Mystery of the Cluebender Society. And on Switch we have The Raven Remastered, because wow, this game is hideous. Might as well show you my remaining Switch games. We have an empty box, how exciting. Little Dragon's Cafe, I had actually kept it to play this year, and then I was looking at reviews for it and people were complaining about how repetitive some of the mechanics are and how overly long the story is, and I was like, yeah, I do kind of remember that because I played it like 5 years ago and then got frustrated with not being able to find something and didn't pick it up. And then they also complained about the frame rate and stuff, and I was like, I don't really remember that. And then I booted it up and I was like, oh my god, how did I ever play this? Runs like shit. It is a very cute art style though, and a cute concept. Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, tried to play this multiple times, it never stuck. Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, I'm so sorry, Haley. Undertale, I'm sorry to the world at large. Fire Emblem Three Houses, I'm just not that into tactical RPGs. Team Sonic Racing, and Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, because, well, I got this because it's a level 5 game, but again, RPGs, I have a stack of games based on IP that I enjoy. Code Lyoko, get ready to virtualize. This game is so fucking hard. Rise of the Guardians, I did say long ago in my DS and 3DS collection video that if I were ever to declutter my games, I would get rid of this one first. Phineas and Ferb, Shaolin Showdown, I'm so bad at this one. Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, I mean, I don't love this movie in particular, I just have a Tinkerbell game and I wanted another one and I like my first one better, so I'm just gonna keep that. Getting into some real niche categories here. We have games that came with my DS Lite when I bought it, I'm pretty sure. Monster High Ghoul Spirit and Guitar Hero on Tour with the little attachment. We have some cutesy, girly, non-otome games such as Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove, including her little statue. This is the cutest game ever made. And maybe you're thinking, Rose, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Rose, Pocopia. No. This is the cutest game ever made. It's about a girl who sneezes so hard that her spirit leaves her body and then she has to dance herself back to life. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, I just haven't really picked this up since 10 years ago when I first played it. Imagine Fashion Designer, I liked this one less than the New York DS one, which I gave to my friend Michaela. Moko Moko Friends, the absolute cutest cover you've ever seen in your life. It's like a girly Pokemon ripoff. It's just, there's so much fucking dialogue and you can't skip it, and it was driving me insane, and I didn't like the gameplay that much either. And Style Savvy Trendsetters, which I did play through, and it's probably the game out of everything here that I liked the most. I really love this game, it's just, when I went to replay it, it wasn't as fun the second time around, so I might get a different Style Savvy game. Might treat myself. I like to call this next category of games Rose. Why in God's name didn't you look at gameplay footage before you bought that? Hometown Story, which I read bad reviews for. I read reviews saying that this was not worth playing, and I bought it anyway, and then played it for 5 minutes and said, ew. Witches and Vampires, The Secrets of Ashbury for the DS. This is a turn-based RPG, which I'm generally not into, and also I thought there would be a lot of like teen angst and love triangles, and it turns out that the main 3 protagonists are step-siblings. And I don't think this is a Sweet Home Alabama type of situation, nor would I want it to be. And Dragonology for the DS. This was kind of a series of books back in the day, so I guess they made a game for it. Our last category of games is incredibly niche, which is mystery games that take place in France and deal with the Knights Templar. I also have a third one of these. It's Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. So Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars for the Game Boy Advance, and Dr. Lautrec and the Forgotten Knights for the 3DS. This one's alright, but again, it's a PC game. Why do I not know about any of these being PC games? And this one, oh boy. I played it in its entirety. It's interesting. It's like a treasure hunting dungeon sort of adventure RPG thing that's also a mystery. It tries to teach you about French history, which I will tip my hat to that, but eventually I did get tired of that. The thing that irks me about this game is that the protagonist is an asshole, and the girl who travels around with him, Sophie, is in love with him for no reason. And she's pining after him the whole game, and I remembered from the trailer, there's a moment where she falls into this pit, and he grabs her, and he tells her, "I can't live without you." And I was waiting for that moment this entire time, and it finally came, and so I'm expecting him to have this come to Jesus moment where he's like, "Oh my god, I loved you all along, I didn't realize it until I almost lost you." Instead, when Sophie asks him what he meant when he said that he couldn't live without her, he was like, "Oh, it's because you have that ability that lets you see treasure animatus." I'm not gonna explain what that is. "So, without you, I wouldn't be able to be a treasure hunter. That's what I meant when I said I couldn't live without you." And this bitch still has feelings for him after that. I will not be replaying this one, shall we say? Okay. Good work. Me. You did nothing. But thank you for watching. If you're wondering what I'm planning to do with this, my roommate and I are going to road trip to Las Vegas and sell all of this off to Pink Gorilla Games because I'm a big fan. Metal Jesus Rocks is the reason I got into collecting in the first place, so I can't wait to get down there and be rid of all of this once and for all, and maybe replace some of my collection with a couple new pickups. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate you sticking around. Bye-bye.